Hey everybody, welcome to an episode of the Phantom Zone, which I don't know, could be more laid back, could be a little bit more quieter and less hyperactive than it normally is, or it could just be
Mhm.
normal stupid bullshit.
Right.
Regardless,
Yeah.
I am going to attempt to steer the ship. I'm Eric Fedorchak,
Good
and who
luck.
else is here with me? Yeah,
Uh,
Uh,
I oh, go ahead, Arlen. Go ahead.
no, you were
How-
already in the
see
middle
how
of it. Yeah.
Oh,
polite.
yeah, I had something to say. I'm here because Connor is currently on trial for his terrible joke last time.
I legitimately
Yes.
don't even remember the joke. So
It was something along the lines of like a guy walks into a bar and tells the bartender, "I can fuck anybody in here," and it ended up the punchline is it's because I'm a rapist.
so it was like a preemptive Ric Flair joke.
I guess I didn't see that episode that you guys have been talking about so much.
Oh God.
Yeah, but who else is here?
Arlen, as usual. And I'll try not to discuss an obscure 90s or early 2000s movie with Lou. I can't promise anything. This is just something that happens. So, yeah.
I don't believe you. And who else is here?
Lou.
Hunter, I didn't know. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Hunter went.
My brain is fried. I'm Lou Gonzalez. I'm a new dad, and I have a new job teaching. My brain is fried, so I don't remember things.
Nice.
Like bad jokes that were made last episode that I was on.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that joke wasn't so horrible that he should go to jail. Not as bad as like a Schindler's List 2 or the 9/11 one I got at the end.
No. We were recording on 9/11, so that would have been a really inappropriate time for a joke about it.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't tell it until it was like 12:05 when we were wrapping up, so it was technically.
Oh, it doesn't count then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I remember going in being like, "Am I gonna make a dumb joke tonight? Am I going to be that person?" And I decided against it.
Well,
it doesn't mean that it wasn't there in the background of my head the entire time, but yeah.
I just don't care. I don't care anymore. What's the point? It gets you nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just like a thing that happened,
So is everybody caught up on What If at this point?
I have not watched the most recent episode yet.
That is the one I really want to talk about. So I hate you.
I'm sorry. I literally came home and passed out, and then I was like, I want to play Judgment, and then I did for like 4 hours.
You couldn't spare half an hour to watch the newest episode.
But Lost Judgment comes out next week, so I mean,
when we get to it, we can talk about it in more concept than actual plot.
That's
it says what the title is like.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't go into everything that happens in it. Although you should kind of expect some of the things that happen based on who the main character is of the story.
I mean, we can kind of address a little bit of it up front. It's an episode about Killmonger, and
the best MCU villain maybe
ever.
And if you know that character as established in the film Black Panther, like if there's anything that's not dangerous about that episode, it's like that's what Killmonger would do. That's exactly what Killmonger would do in that situation. That's who that character is. He would always be that character. Duh. But it's really well done. So
I think the most shocking part to me, at least, is like I didn't realize how many of the stuff like that Chadwick had recorded.
Yeah. Well, that's something else I wanted to bring up. I felt like because this is the last thing he ever did, although they didn't know that at the time, or did they know he had cancer when he was recording this?
I think
nobody knew.
Or maybe if they knew, they didn't know how bad. He definitely kept it real.
Real quiet.
It was just his family, because even Kugler didn't know. They were going to tell anyone.
I feel like they somehow specifically catered these episodes to be like in celebration of Chadwick Boseman in some ways. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it definitely feels a little bit heavy-handed at times.
So there are a couple things there. I think after the fact, yes. Like,
Yeah.
there was definitely a push more towards that, and
especially the one episode feels like, which is the one they could totally made up. The other two, it's like, well, one, you can't have him not in a Killmonger episode.
Yeah.
And the other one is that character is a part of that comic story.
Yes. Also, it's fair to suggest that they may have used takes that they weren't going to use. There's dialogue that they maybe would have said, we don't need this for our episode. Our episode works better if we cut this, that they might have left in. I can't say anything specific because I don't know what that would be.
Like they Princess Leia him in the third one.
Sure, but more just like things that you would cut for timing and pacing, but they kept it because they want to show as much Chadwick as they can, seeing as he's dead.
Yeah, I get that, and it's it is nice because I forget just how goddamn perfect he was for that role.
He's so good.
Yes,
and then I had another thought, which was this: going into Phase 4, we all knew he was going to be an important character. It's one of the many reasons that it was so sad.
He was basically. They had basically said he was going to be the Cap. Like, he was going to be the one of the two cornerstones of it.
Yeah, it's very much, it's there. It's there in the fact that he was introduced in a Cap movie, that the character he, like, had the most, like, bromance with and, like, a real, like, understanding with is Cap. The fact that they do the whole running into battle and Infinity War together, like, it's just there. It's just very obvious that he's sort of taking that role, much in the same way that Strange does a similar thing with Tony.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think about that, and it all makes sense. But yeah, it wasn't on my mind when I was watching these episodes. It was more just like it just, like I said, it kind of felt heavy-handed at times. I mean, I'm okay with it, but it was just like, okay, this is definitely like, let's celebrate his life, and we'll do it in every episode we possibly can.
And again, to me, I feel like, oddly, I feel that in the first one that he's in, because that's the one that's like, if I was gonna say, I don't know if we want to go through each one, but like, I think that's the weakest episode to me in many ways.
The T'Challa's Star-Lord. Yeah.
It's very. I think the first two are to me are the weakest, but like, it just seems so fluffy and nonsensical.
So I do think we should we don't need to go like super in depth on each individual episode, but I will say that just general broad outlook. First two episodes, I don't dislike them. They're just not, I guess, challenging, I guess. And I kind of want that a little bit with What If. The two episodes that I've liked the most are the ones that...
They're very gold, like, maybe not like Silver Age, kind of like Silver Agey What If.
Yeah, if What If had been like a thing, or like, you know, the What If that we think of, yes. Like if it existed then, and it's just like, it's very clean, and it's very like, oh, isn't this fun? I'm
trying to remember. I think What If was around in the 70s.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Which is Silver Age, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what any of that shit is.
Yeah, it's the pre-80s group. Whatever the 70s, like I think Golden Age is like the 40s and 50s and 60s. I don't know.
I think I think it ends somewhere in the 60s.
Yeah,
somewhere around then.
But like, because I remember one of the first What Ifs is like, what if Jane Foster's stored? It's like, well, they basically did that in the first episode. Yeah, that's what that is. But I like it.
Yeah, and then, you know, I really like episode 3. I like episode 3 a lot. Episode 4 is an episode I liked when I watched it, and after
episode 3 is the Avengers one, right?
Yes, that's
definitely was like, oh, now we're getting into some real shit here.
I feel like that's the first one to really take advantage of the concept, to me at least. Like, to really like say, okay, well, this is what we're doing, and this is how you do that. That's the first one where I felt that. 4 is kind of messy, but only in retrospect. I had a fine time watching it while I was in it. I think it's
which one is 4?
That's the Doctor Strange one. because
Okay.
it's not memorable after the fact. Outside of like the ending is
Mhm.
probably the best part of the whole episode.
Oh.
It felt like
See,
they
I think
came up
that's
with
my
an ending first.
I think that's my second favorite one.
No, it's good. It's fine. It just has it has issues. I really did not like the last episode. I think that's the only
The
one.
zombies one.
I think it's the only one that's badly written. If I was gonna say one of them was badly written,
I am so glad. I thought I was going to be alone. I fucking hate the zombie one.
I think this other one's fun, but it is like it's very clearly like we just want to do Marvel Zombies, and this is the only way we're going to do it.
Oh my god! And and that book, like I read that book when it came out. I don't know, Eric, did you read it when it came out?
I read like I think from Hoopla. I read like the first 12 issues or whatever it was.
I own all of them in hardcovers.
That original run was like real interesting and was really dark.
It's fun.
And
it's fun.
And they kind of I didn't like they kind of didn't get to the part of Marvel Zombies that was fun.
Yeah.
And like they just didn't get there, which is annoying. Which they kind of touch on when we get like the Ant-Man stuff, like with Rudd. And that's the part where it gets like real fucking wonky. And fun, but I didn't mind like how they introduced the virus. I just was like, no, they turned this like interesting concept into the most boring version of it.
Yeah,
that's an episode that I would say, as a person who doesn't like it, it's full of cool moments. It's jam packed with moments where I'm like, that's interesting, or that's not a bad idea. I just don't think it all fits together properly. To use a puzzle as a metaphor. Some of the pieces that are supposed to connect the puzzle are like chipped away and broken, or they're just jammed in where they're not supposed to be. It's just parts of it just don't work. Some of the characters act inconsistent within the same episode.
I was just saying like,
who the characters are.
One of my problems with the characters is like I would have wanted an explanation of why these people are together and how. Like, how the fuck did Happy get there and Sharon Carter? Like, where the fuck were they that they got to New York and survived?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, having read a decent amount of What If comics in my lifetime, like, they really run the gamut. Like, it can be really awesome. Like, oh, this is a great concept, and it was handled well, and it was like a self-contained What If. And then you'll have like the what if Conan ended up in the 70s and he ends up dressed as a pimp at one point? Like, there's all types of like really bad ones, or really
what
just
I remember is like, what if the Marvel bullpen became the Fantastic Four?
Oh God, yeah, I've seen that picture before.
It's Stan, Kirby.
Yeah, Ditko probably, and Ramada Jr. or Ramada
Senior.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, but I know I've seen that as well, and like, yeah, it's goofy stuff like that they could do sometimes, and just be like, yeah, whatever, we don't care. That's what this is for.
It really reminded me, and again, this is as more of the comic person, like the really bad DC version of Marvel Zombies.
DC's
was literally this.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a kind of copy of a copy. Like
DC's just so dumb.
Yeah, and this is Deceased. Like, it's a virus that comes, and we have a handful. It's like, and they're dumb zombies. Like, one of the cool things in Marvel Zombies was, well, after a while, one, they actually like physically eat people. They don't just bite them and then they turn. And that eventually, if they just stop eating, they gain back their sentience, which was a whole wild thing. And my favorite part is when they kill Galactus and they take the power cosmic, and they are galactic, like they're universally traveling zombies.
Yeah, they're world destroyers. Well, with Deceased, am I mixing it up with the one Wonder Woman storyline where she was using Superman's skull and spine?
Yes, that's a different story.
Okay.
That one is actually really fucking rad. That was a one-off. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really, really fun. And she ties the lasso, like kind of strings it through his skull and spine. Because it's still a Kryptonian skeleton, and she uses it as like a fucking flail. Yeah, and
it's rad.
Cool. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. That's something that would be rad to see in Deceased, or that even sounds like something that would be in Injustice, but because Superman is the main villain, you can't do that. I mean, unless they would have a Superman from an alternate universe, maybe they could do that.
Or if they weren't pussies, that would probably.
Well, hey,
God
they
damn
might
it.
do it in the animated movie.
Oh Christ! Oh, what do they do? What do they do?
Which,
Anyways,
just say, you do know that the DC and Injustice were written by the same guy.
Yeah. No, I could tell. Believe me, I could tell.
Yeah.
We don't need to go down the rabbit hole, but his DC stuff is bad. It's amazing how bad it is
Yeah,
compared to how good
excellent
his Marvel
90s
stuff is. Like it's like he's a different person when he works for DC. I don't understand it.
Well, he's giving the fans what they want. But yeah, back to What If. So the zombie one, like I didn't really have any issues with it. Like it was just goofy fun, and I kind of knew it was just going to be a complete one-off and not have any type of like real weight to it. Like that was totally what I went into it knowing. Like, all right, zombie, because even the title is just What If Zombies. Like, all right, yeah, you guys just wanted to have fun. Cool, got it.
Fair enough. Yeah. And again, there are good moments in it, like Hulk versus Zombie Scarlet Witch. That and that's the other thing. None of them have been boring. That's the thing that I have to give them credit for. I've never been like, I don't want to be here right now.
I will say some of the voice acting has been iffy at times. Like generally not from main characters, but some of the side characters definitely. It's been like, okay, this definitely wasn't the best delivery you could have given, but whatever. Let's go on. Like even
to go on that, I think it's wild how many of the people they got. In the newest one, in the zombie one, the only person that wasn't the real person was Spider-Man. Was not Holland.
Oh,
everyone else, it was them.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. There are some times where you're watching, and you're like, oh, that's clearly another person.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's actually them.
I thought Favreau was another person, but it's Favreau.
No, it's Favreau, and Benicio del Toro in the T'Challa episode is 100% Benicio.
And he's my favorite part of that. And I actually really like the stylized up version. I think this is another thing. I love the art style they went with.
Yeah, I
think it really works for me.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't like that much, but 9 times out of 10, I'm basically like, yeah, this is great. Like, and I was reading that like it's an animation style where they animate over like some of the actual like film. That's why you have stuff that looks so accurate.
Yeah, a little bit of back there.
Yeah, in the Killmonger one, I'm not. It's not spoiling anything. They use the shot from the first Avengers, like that panorama shot, and it actually makes that cap suit look not bad. Like
the only way.
Well, that's what everybody tries to do. Everybody tries to make that cap suit and not look like the dumbest pajamas. Fucking.
Which I love that they, again, having like rewatched like Endgame recently, like I feel like they kind of make the joke at it in it.
Yes. Yeah, but, no, they acknowledge it, and that's worth something.
But I think it works for all of the episodes, especially the first episode. Like that art style, like
it works there.
Fucking home run.
I think so what I like about it is that if you're not going to do tailored art styles for each episode, this art style is more than fine. Like it's a perfect baseline. It accentuates the characters in each episode, and it's not like they're sticking to a specific color palette for every episode. They don't all look the same, which is something I appreciate. They're taking the time to tailor it to what they're doing. I really like that the third episode, it's about as close as I think we're gonna get to like a not quite a Fincher movie, but it gets pretty dang close in there in parts. Just in the way that everything is lit, and like that sequence where Natasha is in the library. It gets very creepy and very atmospheric. Than anything I've ever seen in anything from Marvel, period. So that's the stuff that I really appreciate. And then on the flip side, like parts of why those first 2 episodes really don't work is there are just so many missed opportunities, so many routes not taken where it's like, but you're doing a what if, so why don't you do that? Like it's a massive oversight
because they're only half an hour long.
Yeah.
Yes,
those-
but like,
Yeah.
I do
So,
think that
Eric,
is
I
part of the
agree.
issue.
I agree, Eric, but like, shouldn't T'Challa, when he's in the same room as Mjolnir, be able to wield Mjolnir?
I don't
Shouldn't
know.
it just like
They've never
come to him?
established that.
I don't think he's ever. Has
If
he
it
ever picked
happened
up in the
though, Eric,
comics?
would you be surprised? Would you be like, "Oh, well, that's a shock"?
No, but I feel like that would also it would feel too much like doing the same
That-
thing they did with Cap in
And,
Endgame.
yeah, I honestly think it would
Sure.
also not come off great. Like,
Yeah.
like it would. That would be like feeling very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
I
Like,
guess.
especially because I don't like. I honestly, I'm like, I don't know if he's ever done it in the comics,
I don't think he has.
I mean,
and I don't know if
Yeah.
I would even say T'Challa is that guy. Like, he is a great guy, but he is still like a king.
Mhm.
Like,
I feel like that's the point of the first Black Panther movie, that he is that guy. That's
I think
kind of like,
see, like, I guess I take it differently. Like, to me, he's like, I want to be that guy, which is like better
Well,
than
okay.
a lot of other people.
we can't turn this into a reveal of Black Panther, but he
Yes,
wants to be
yes.
his father, and he realizes his father is not who he thinks he is.
Yes.
That's also the point of the film.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm saying if you have the opportunity to do something like that, you do it. You don't just have Mjolnir be there to be window setting or window dressing. I mean,
I think like just the whole concept of that one episode is like real weird. Like
mhm.
it is the goofiest of the what if setups, where like it is such a like, okay, this happens. There's no real reason why, but like here's the thing, and it's just like, well, it seems like such a cheesy setup for the plot, and that's where like it doesn't work, and it
Mm.
never really
Mm.
gets there, at least for me, because it's like, well, okay, so they picked up the wrong kid, so
I mean,
yeah, like it's
Yeah.
such a goofy start.
there. That's an episode where I think their heart is in the right place, but again, I just think they leave too much stuff on the table, for me. But at the same time, I appreciate things like the idea that Thanos just needed to be talked down.
Yes, that part is like once they get into it, they have a lot of fun with it. With,
Yeah,
like with Thanos and with the Collector,
Nebula.
and
and the
Nebula,
Collector.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and some of that stuff is fun, and I really appreciated that. Like, it's a heist episode, so what music do you use? You use the score from Ant-Man.
Mhm.
This
Yep.
is a heist film.
Yes.
Like I appreciate a lot of
Oh,
that.
which
Oh,
speaking
Hunter,
of which,
no.
Like that.
Hunter,
I
you were
can't.
going to say something?
I like defang Thanos in that.
Yeah,
Where
Yes.
he's just like
fun.
he's just a big dork now.
but I like
Well, I think he was
still
trying to
is
say
like
that sounds a
holding
lot
on
like
to the idea.
genocide. It's not genocide. It's a totally different thing.
He's like, yeah, but it's efficient. It's like, god damn it, Thanos.
Well, before you go down the rabbit hole anymore on the second episode, I did want to mention with the animation style, like sometimes it's a little iffy for me, but the action scenes are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like it lends itself so well to translating the action really well and it make it easy to follow.
hmm
I also think it does a good job of like with the faces of replicating the real people in a not uncanny valley way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it looks like
Yeah.
the actors, but it looks enough like a cartoon where it doesn't look weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
It
100%.
captures their personality. Yeah.
Especially like, and it starts off really well with that in that first episode. Like,
mhm.
and I love all the concepts. Like, I guess in that first episode, I love the concepts of. I love the idea of them making was it the Hydra Stomper?
Yeah.
It's
Something
like
like that.
super fun.
Mhm.
And this is fun. I don't know. Like, I do think there's a lot of cool stuff, but I guess like instead of doing that second episode, it would have been more interesting if they did like a what if T'Chaka didn't kill his brother. Like that would have been a more interesting what if.
Yeah.
If he brought, or if he just brought, if he brought Killmonger back with him
Mm-hmm.
and raised him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
But
that
once
would have.
again-
That's a ballsy move.
Once again, though, I feel like it would be playing into the like, man, wasn't Chadwick a great guy thing that I feel like is going on with most of the episodes here.
Yeah,
I
well, I feel
mean-
like that's an episode where you can almost push him aside, like, well,
Mhm.
Killmonger's older than him. What if he then becomes like, as the adopted son, he takes the crown, like, and
Mhm.
make him the good guy?
Well, so I can see why they didn't do that, because they kind of had a Killmonger episode in the pocket
Oh yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's part of it. It's like, you don't want to make this too Killmonger heavy. Not that I'm against that, but I understand for them, there's a practical reason not to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't really have any like other strong feelings about the show though. Like, I guess if I have an overall criticism, I don't have strong feelings about it. I'm for the most part like, all right, that was fine. That episode wasn't my favorite, but whatever. So yeah, that's
I
sort
don't know.
of
I'm just having a good time watching it
Sure.
every week. Like, it's not that
Mhm.
I disliked, watching WandaVision or Loki or
Mhm.
Falcon Winter Soldier, but it's nice to watch something that's kind of light and fluffy that doesn't really
Mhm.
have any stakes. So it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. This will be resolved, or it won't be in half an hour, and I'll never have to worry about it again.
Yeah.
And I won't
Yeah.
have to hear about people talking about insane theories about Mephisto.
No,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's the best part. No,
It's coming,
no
though.
insanity.
Uh,
He just
he'll be
like.
there. You
Uh,
can't
Well,
tell
okay.
me he's not.
So Eric, I
Yeah.
don't want to infect your brain with this. There are people who don't understand what anthologies are.
Yeah, no.
And there are people who are trying to like come up with theories about how all these episodes take place in the same universe.
No, well, they take place in the same multiverse.
They do, but these are people who are really trying to like figure out how it all fits into the same universe and the larger MCU. And I
How do
just
they-
The only character in the only story that could possibly ever translate in my mind is the Strange episode.
yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
only one, and I think I wouldn't be mad at it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
mean-
I kind of hope we don't see anything from this
Oh,
affecting.
I
the
hope we
MCU.
don't see it.
Yeah, very
What if
very
that
little.
what if that Doctor Strange becomes Mephisto?
No,
God
well, I mean, honestly, maybe.
So on that note, I do want to say, like, I don't think Peggy Carter, for example, is going to show up in a movie. Not
No.
for an extended period
Well,
of time.
I do have a theory about Multiverse Madness now that I saw that episode. I think that the villain's going to be Doctor Strange. I think there's going to be another Doctor Strange in Multiverse
That's where
Madness.
I can see a lot of things happening in that movie.
Well, I think that I think from what we saw with the Spider-Man trailer, like, I don't think that's our quote unquote Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
That's
No,
where I'm
it's
at right
definitely
now.
it's definitely not.
Yeah.
Not for the whole runtime. I think that the Doctor Strange who causes all of it there's something going on there. There's something else. Something else is happening there. But I don't want to go too off on that. I do want to say though that, like, I think that they are setting things up for things that will come later. Like, they're seeding things that could grow.
How many more episodes are there? Because there's one more.
There's
I don't
6?
know.
4, I think. I want to say, because I think the total is 9.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so I think there's been, or we had 5 or 6.
We've had
Oh.
5, I want to say. Is that
think-
right?
I
We
don't
had
know.
Peggy Carter, the
T'Challa Star-Lord,
Lord,
the murder mystery,
murder mystery,
zombies, and then
zombies, Killmonger,
this one. Oh, and Doctor Strange. So
Strange.
yeah.
and
Okay,
Doctor
so
Strange. There's 6. We have 3 left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's one thing we haven't talked about, and that is
Mhm.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yes.
I
Yes.
really
Oh, yeah.
like him
He-
as the
he's-
voice of Uatu.
He is.
Yes.
I think he's great in every episode. Even like
Well, and he gets the
Even-
most play in the Strange episode too, which
yeah. He in the Strange episode, he's excellent. He's excellent because that's an episode where they respect the rules that they set up for that character
Mhm.
and for the magic within that universe. So it only makes sense that Strange would be able to realize that he's there. And yeah, he has like like in mini anthology things before this, he gets that moment where he's like scolding the the subject. And it's really well done. It's really well written. And
interesting character design, because like he's definitely slightly different than like our traditional Uatu, where he definitely has more like black features, but I think they still play with shadow and stuff, but like I know there's an action figure that's white, that's Caucasian, so it's like it's a little interesting that they went that way.
No, I think it's smart. Like, it, instead of making the overseeing like all powerful godlike entity in this show, like, oh yeah, let's make him a white man. Like they made him ambiguous. Like, I mean, he definitely, like you said, has features. No, but still, I mean, he looks human to an extent, minus his giant head. But yeah, I think them being ambiguous, kind of like Shepard from Mass Effect, it's just like, okay, like, he could kind of be almost anybody, like of any origin or ethnic background.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's an entity more than he is like a physical being in the show.
Exactly.
And he pulls, like we said, like his performance, like he pulls off the gravitas that you need for that character, like, which can be hard to do in an animated form. And it makes me want to see him return in some way in the proper MCU.
Yes.
As that character.
Yes.
I would
kill for that.
Yeah.
I would kill for that.
Yeah. I think that with the Kang of it all and many other things that they've already established, it's kind of impossible for him not to make some sort of
you know what also just popped in my head that I would love him to voice is Surfer. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think he could pull off, because like that is a very sad character, and I think that is something that Jeffrey Wright is. That's the correct name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think he is, like, when I think back to the only season that exists of, oh my god, now I forget, the robot show.
Westworld.
That like he was so good at that character that, and I feel like that character reminds me so much. Bernard of Silver Surfer, of like the character.
I can see that.
That's an interesting comp. Yeah.
Which they did in the shitty Fox movie with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, that was him. He was the voice, and old Dougie Jones was the body. Wearing that suit. Yeah.
So, Hunter, what do you think the Watcher card would let you be able to do in the new Marvel game that's coming out?
The Watcher card?
If there was one, what do you think it would let you do in Midnight Suns?
Voyeurism.
Okay.
To the Watchers, the ultimate peeping Tom.
Yes. Yeah. That's why he wears robes, because his erection is massive most of the
time. Yeah, he's always just like beaten off the whole time.
Ease of access.
It is a sex thing. Let's be real.
Yeah.
My God.
I'm trying to say, we saw the Watchers in what, Guardians 2?
Yeah.
That was that Flash. It just reminds me, because like the Watchers and the Guardians from the Green Lantern are like kind of ripoffs of each other. Just
they totally are.
Just like, oh yeah, all the Watchers are guys.
Yeah.
And they at least at some point.
That's because women cannot be overseeing space aliens that know all. And
we have covered this many times.
Yeah. The Watchers are in space. So
right.
And women also aren't allowed to masturbate while wearing giant robes. So there you go. Yeah.
Exactly. The women would distract them. They would just do that all the time. They would just
Exactly. But no, Hunter, you wanted to talk about some of the Marvel games that are coming out.
Oh yeah. So they just announced Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, both made by Insomniac, and with Midnight Suns coming, it's very clear that Disney gives a fuck about video games now.
Yeah.
It is. I will say it's interesting that 2 of those games feature a mutant.
Yeah.
He's like the mutant at this point, but yes,
he's the most popular one. There will be. I don't think these are the last Marvel games either. Just judging by comments by Insomniac and like other kind of.
I would really like if there was some Marvel games that were coming to the Xbox, because
I'm sure there will be.
I'm not gonna lie, like I was finally able to procure an Xbox through like a Walmart drop with All Access Series X, and part of me when I was getting it, I'm like, but you can't play Spider-Man or Wolverine on it. This is stupid.
This is not worth it.
This is
you can't play Avengers and get that eventual sweet Spider-Man download whenever it happens.
Eventual.
There'll be Marvel games on Xbox. Like I don't buy that. This whole like people are like, oh, it's only all exclusive.
Well,
like, no, that'd be dumb.
Microsoft's the only one that has not gotten a Marvel exclusive game.
Yeah,
even Nintendo got one.
I mean, they're gonna have. They're very clearly gonna have a lot of DC exclusives. Depending on how.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
The next couple years go.
It would be interesting to see if they like try to sign a deal to make one of those Batman games an exclusive.
They probably will. I would not shock me.
I think Hunter is more implying that they're just going to outright buy Rocksteady.
I have a feeling that they're going to buy some of those studios. Like
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Insomniac's gonna team up and make a new Kingdom Hearts game.
You joke, but I'd play that.
I would gut one of you for a PS5 if I meant I could play that game. I'm sorry. I love all of you, but
that just made me think. It's kind of funny to think that like Disney has kind of been in the gaming world for a while, at least. Like that they gave Square a lot of.
They were half stepping into the gaming sphere because Bob Iger famously thought games were for kids, and he was like, "Well, we'll just make Disney." Yeah, no, fuck him. But he just wanted to make Disney Infinity. I
mean, to be fair, when the fucking Jedi game that I can't remember the name of, Fallen Order came out, when that came out and it made fucking assloads of money.
Yeah, I'm sure Disney noticed.
Oh, video games are important. More of these, please.
Well,
more video games.
I kind of wonder too if the clusterfuck that was the loot boxes in
Battlefront
2, if that made them realize, like, wait, like there's potentially a lot of money to be made here. We don't want our name to look bad associated with this game, so let's get a little bit more involved. Because that happened before Fallen Order came out, didn't it?
Yes, that was the one before.
Fallen Order was probably in development as soon as they bought Star Wars.
I bet honestly, Fallen Order it started as an idea, and then like it was on their desk, and then all the loot box shit came out, and they're like, let's do Fallen Order.
Yeah, well, actually, just thinking about the timeline, they canceled all those games that EA was gonna do.
Yes, when Lucasfilm Games got disbanded, like a lot of projects died.
Yeah,
and I could see it being that all those people went and started working on Fallen Order like right away. I wouldn't be surprised because you have all these people who are out of work, but they're still with the company and they need something to do. So,
like EA is known for like killing studios that don't deliver. So it's like, I'm sure there was a lot of like conversation. Like I'm sure even with the KOTOR remake that's coming out, like there was conversations leading back all the way to like Battlefield 1.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Lou knows this really well. Dave Filoni has a lot of power, and he really likes that era between New Hope and Revenge.
The Rebels timeline.
Yes, he really, really likes that period of time. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, hey, it'd be really cool if you did a game about this.
Well, before we get
too, like those characters got pulled into any live action stuff recently.
Before we get pulled too deep in the weeds on Star Wars, though, let's get back to the original topic at hand, which was Marvel games.
Sure.
Yeah.
So on the exclusivity thing, real quick, I would not be shocked if within the next 3 years Xbox signs a deal to make a Marvel game. Like
I hope so.
Because like it is such a slam dunk for all of them to just get in on this property.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics involved, inter-studio politics. That
Xbox gets in Inhumans exclusive.
Shut up.
You know what? It would probably be good, honestly, if they gave it to the right studio. Like they could do something with Inhumans. It's not.
They could.
I just thought of a game that would make Hunter's mind explode.
Is it Daredevil?
That could possibly work.
Moon Knight.
No. Moon Knight by Kojima.
You know what?
Wow.
I would never leave my house. I would never leave my house again at that point.
That is kind of a match made, right? Like he would
kind of
swim in that. I feel like
he would nail the little idiosyncrasies of that character. The weird little like.
Well, I think the newer runs of Moon Knight and Kojima would work together really well.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Kojima is. I don't know how he feels about comic books. I know I've known he's at least seen the Justice League Snyder Cut. Yeah. That's the only thing I know of his.
I don't know how much of his online persona is real and how much of it is him being Kojima.
It is. Right. There is a good part of it that's real because, like, he is a huge film fan. Like, that's what he does when he's not making games.
Absolutely. He's a nerd. Here's the thing. David Lynch is not actually David Lynch.
There's no way.
That is a 50-year-long performance art, which he is doing fantastically.
As much as I want to believe that he is yelling at Woody Woodpecker dolls, I don't think it's actually happening.
He's just trying to hide his cameo in the new Dune movie.
I really hope he's in it.
He'll just be the exact same character he was in his version.
Absolutely, yes. He must be like a weird like spice guy who's like working on the ship. He's like,
he should literally just be like, "Wait, who's that guy?" And he just picks his head up, and he's just blue-eyed with like spice on his face. And he's like, "Huh?" And then just cut away.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Hunter, what other Marvel games have? I mean, I know Midnight Suns and then the two big Insomniac ones, but I mean,
there's they've done the mobile games.
Yeah, I know there's a new one that just came out on iPhone that actually looks really fun.
It's fun. I've actually played a little bit more of that, and it's kind of fun.
I have it. I want to actually ask you about Midnight Suns because, like, the Wolverine game we have seen nothing. The Spider-Man game we kind of know about. What have they said? What this Midnight Suns game is?
Yes, it's a So it's kind of a collection of a lot of things in that it is a tactics RPG. Like FF Tactics. Or kind of like XCOM too, because it has. They keep saying it has no XCOM mechanics, but I look at it, it's like there's got to be at least something in here.
Oh yeah, because it's a created character, right?
Well, yeah, there's one creative character, and that is the Hunter. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
that's your main character.
The daughter of Lilith. And it's sort of like Persona in that you get to like hang out with the superheroes. Like you give
Spider-Man gonna fuck.
Dude, I really want to kiss Ghost Rider. That's what I want to do.
You're hanging out with Wolverine and like
Ghost Rider.
It's like all the Lotharios of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, it's interesting though because like there's 12 heroes like total, and they've only shown 9. Yeah, so there's definitely more people coming.
I would like.
What's it say? Like it's Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Blade, Magic. I think right.
Yes,
Magic is there.
I'm excited that she's in it. Yeah, Elsa Bloodstone.
Nico from Runaways. Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Captain America, which is really funny to me that they're in there.
Nico is a fun character from the.
And Captain Marvel too.
Yes, Captain Marvel's there.
So they've actually shown 10 of them then.
Yeah, so there's 2 we haven't seen.
Which they better have Moon Knight if they're gonna call it Midnight Suns.
I'm sure he's in there. If not, he will be a DLC character.
And Punisher.
Oh, and we're
Punisher
Blade.
Be fun.
They showed Blade too, so that's 11.
Yeah, they showed Blade. Yeah. So the only ones they're missing are like some combo of either Punisher, Daredevil, or Moon Knight. Where like
or Werewolf by Night.
Yes.
Werewolf by Night.
Yes.
Although it is funny, I was listening to a podcast. They're talking about like the only team Wolverine's never really been on, although he's had stories. He's never been on a strictly supernatural team. He has had supernatural stories,
Yeah,
Like,
it's never been on like
Wolverine Vampire Hunter is kind of hilarious.
Yes. Yes. I want that.
Like, they have done. I think there was actually the current Wolverine book has had him fighting vampires.
Well, there was that whole.
They want his blood because it makes them daywalkers or something.
Oh,
that's dumb.
Because
there was a whole storyline with the X-Men where they fought Dracula. I have a comic somewhere.
No, it's not X-Men. It's Excalibur.
Oh, it's Excalibur. Okay, I have the comic somewhere.
That makes a little more sense.
They fight Dracula, and Dracula's base is on the moon.
Yes, I remember now. Okay. Yes,
that makes sense.
That's so dumb.
Is it Dave Bautista?
It's Captain Britain and MI13, and it's one of the best books. And it's when Blade joined Excalibur. Because
he's half British. He's half British.
He's half British. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Because of his father. So they had him. It's like him, Spitfire.
I love how that's enough for him to join Excalibur.
I mean, why not? You know. And Anya Taylor-Joy is a woman of color, according to some people. So why not?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, if that color is white.
She's like paler than normal white people.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with Midnight Suns.
She's a tall white.
With Midnight Suns, Lou, the one thing that Hunter didn't get to mention was that it's a card-based strategy game at that.
Yeah. So you get to
what? So you literally just may have ruined this for me.
It's not random though. Like you build your deck. It's not so you pick the cards you start with, and then you like feed cards into their abilities essentially.
Yeah.
It's just a way for you to like categorize your abilities essentially.
Like have you ever
look at this?
There's a game I think it's on Game Pass. It's called Slay the Spire.
Yes.
And I
have not played this.
It's not like a real-time strategy or whatever you want to call it, like Midnight Suns looks like, but it's a card-based RPG and it's a roguelike at that.
Yeah. Oh. The whole idea is you draw cards for your abilities. It's not like it's not like a regular card game where you're like you have to keep like get your mana.
Yeah, exactly. I need to tap this land and all that. Like
the thing that scares me is that because that feels like it's going to be loot box heavy.
It's not.
They've said no. It's only skins. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's the same thing as Avengers. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, except it's going to be.
Except it's exclusively single player and it's a story-based tactical RPG.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm like I watched because there's gameplay footage out there of it. Mind you, I'm sure it's still heavily scripted, but it looks good. Like when they're playing, it's like, oh, that all makes sense. And like some of the cooler things in it is like if you hit an enemy and there's another one behind it, because they'll show you the range of effectiveness of like an attack or whatever. You can knock an enemy into another enemy and do damage to that one, or like you can knock them into like a barrel that explodes and hurts all the guys around them.
So it's like really like it's more of a hardcore RPG in that way.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy Tactics. If I had to compare it to something.
Okay, I haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics in forever, so like, aren't they making a new Tactics?
They're making Metal Slug Tactics, which is cool as fuck.
Oh yes,
but isn't Square making a Tactics game that like?
Yeah, well, it's not Final Fantasy. It's
no. It's
Project Triangle.
Yeah,
is it that bad Parasite Eve homage?
No.
Isn't it like
Project Eve?
It's not connected to Octopath, but it's like something.
Yeah, it's the same studio. It's called Triangle Strategy or something like that.
Yeah.
The game is cool. I think I played the demo. I remember.
I have not played.
I remember at least seeing gameplay of that, and it's like that looks neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Midnight Suns looks great. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Also, Guardians is next month too. So like,
I forgot about that.
Right,
yeah.
I forgot.
Wow.
Again, like I don't even. What is Guardians? Like I feel like I don't know.
It's
looking at the trailer.
It's basically it's an action game.
Yeah, it's a third-person action game.
Yeah, it's not like people are like it's like Max Effect. It is and it isn't in that you get to like talk to like Rocket and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's more of a linear game.
I have no drive to play as Star-Lord.
But I want to play as Star-Lord.
I don't know. I don't mind.
Make Arkham Knight, but Moon Knight.
Yes.
Arkham
Here's
Moon
what you
Knight.
do. You make a Daredevil game,
Yes.
but it's just the Arkham Asylum.
Or you make a game and you could switch between which of those characters. Between Daredevil, Moon Knight,
that would be.
Cage.
I think that would be too much. Like programmers would die trying to fit that much stuff in.
Fuck them. We'll make more. We'll make more programmers. Give me the things.
We'll just take everyone from the ruins of Activision, and they can make that game.
Yeah,
Disney's got the cash.
That's true. Disney, in a shocking 11th hour twist, is going to buy Insomniac out from under Sony.
That would be insane. I think.
I don't think it would ever happen.
No.
This is what will happen. Sony will buy Insomniac, and Disney will buy Sony then.
Sony already owns Insomniac.
Yeah, well,
and then the Biden administration breaks them up.
Yes, and then
Trump and then everything's terrible again. Exactly.
If they got into
it's supposed to happen tomorrow.
If Trump is president, depending on the week, that changes, Eric. If Trump is president again, Disney will buy every company. Every company.
You know what? If that happens, good. That point, why not?
Happens, at least we have solace in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then they can start opening up the workers' tenements, and we can all get jobs for Disney.
Yeah,
and
every day we pray to Mickey Mouse.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're allowed a Dole Whip a week.
Wow. I want them to start changing
Facebook, and then we have to put on the Disney goggles.
I want them to buy countries and change their names to this is now Hoth.
Yes.
They're not far off already, though. That's the thing.
They buy Greenland, and they're like, we always joke that the Greenland's always covered in ice. We're just renaming Greenland Hoth.
Oh, the way things are going, it's not much covered in ice anymore.
Yeah.
No, or they would just name it after Disney movies. Like they would buy France and be like, all right, this is Ratatouille now.
Yeah, exactly.
They just change the name of the cities and their characters.
We can be happy that they'll never name anything after Song of the South.
Why did they name Canada Apple Dumpling Gang? This just doesn't make any sense.
They called Vermont. They called Vermont Dragon. All right, that makes sense. That works.
They renamed Washington D.C. the setting of National Treasure. That's just long.
It's way too long.
You say that, and as a history teacher, I've literally brought up that movie several times so far this year.
No, it's a perfect film for that.
Did you? Speaking of National Treasure, did you see that Nicolas Cage quote where he's like, "I will never retire"?
Yes.
I saw that.
And can I say yes?
Yes, please don't.
Also, make 7 more National Treasure movies. They're the only good. They're like the only good new Indiana Jones movies.
Make Willy's Wonderland 2 where he beats up a Mexican turtle again.
Yes to
they
that.
Explain what the soda's about too. Actually, also, they wouldn't even name DC. They wouldn't even name it the set of National Treasure. They would just name it Nick Cage. Driving through Nick Cage, the worst.
Hey, the football team here couldn't go with they haven't been named. Maybe they'll buy them and name them the Nick Cages.
Isn't it the Washington football team?
Well,
yes,
they should call them
they are changing the name again, but they haven't said. They're being very cagey about it.
Oh,
God damn it!
It's gonna be something horrible.
No, they should worse. Because
the Coppola family should buy that team, and they should just call them the Washington Coppolas. And
okay with that.
They only serve Coppola wine, and then Eric.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I will become the biggest fan.
Yeah, same. Suddenly, I love that team. All of a sudden,
yes.
Yeah, but it could be worse. The Cleveland baseball team changed their name for starting next season, and it is the lamest name for a sports team.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the most racist. Okay.
No, well, they went from the
yeah, they went the other way.
And now they
doubled down.
Exactly, they dug their heels in.
They changed it to the Guardians.
What?
Which is like the softest name.
Are they a Destiny esports team?
Oh, we're the Cleveland Red N-words. Oh God!
Oh no!
That's the name of the episode. Arlen, I command you.
No, that's not happening. No. The Cleveland
of the world. That is the name of the episode.
the Cleveland what's it called? Not Cro-Magnon.
Neanderthals.
No, it's like a really bad word.
Why are you trying to say it?
I know.
No, but it's really bad, but people still say it. Fuck.
I feel like I know what the word you're thinking.
It's a word for subhuman. Like it's what the creatures
Mongoloids.
Mongoloids.
Close. It's what the creatures in Bone Tomahawk are. Fucking.
Oh no.
I'm
half and half on that movie.
God damn it! I was waiting for something.
It really just splits the audience right down the middle.
It'll never get old.
No, it will never get old because I just imagine that man just buck-ass naked getting split in half down the middle. And,
hey, some people pay money for that.
I'm going to kink shame you now, Arlen.
I mean, it's not my fault that a fucking Nazi made that movie.
Yeah,
and he made everybody watch it.
Now he's part of Ben Shapiro's network, right?
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it! Now I need to know what this word is that Arlen thinks is so terrible.
I thought it was Mongoloid, which is
so we can.
We need to stop saying ballpark as Mongoloid. It's in the same.
This is the most I've heard that word said ever outside of my mouth.
I'm uncomfortable.
and I think there's a Talking Head song that.
It was definitely it is now a slur for sure. Mm-hmm. So Arlen, you should edit this whole section out. And it's definitely a term that was used for people with I don't even know what they would like Down syndrome in the past.
Oh no!
That term was referred to.
It was for anybody.
It was one of those umbrella words.
Disabled.
That was what I was like. Developmentally disabled.
And it's Devo. I can't believe I thought it was Talking Heads. Yeah, they have a song called that word.
Wow. How dare you?
Happier Than You and Me.
I do have to say, Arlen is the one that brought us here. So
I don't even know where to go from here. I don't know.
I just know you're gonna have to edit out this whole 15-minute section.
I'm not editing shit. I don't give a fuck. Well, what do we want to talk about now, gents?
I don't know. You said you had some news to bring up, or are you just
leaving
us
in
the dark?
So let's do this one because it's fun. So Chris Nolan is a petty bitch.
Yeah.
And he left WB for Universal.
He likes those rye sandwiches, you know.
Man, I can't wait for the Universal Studios Chris Nolan Oppenheimer ride.
It's gonna be no. I can't wait for the Chris Nolan new movie starring Vin Diesel.
Oh my God. Is he gonna make Fast and the Furious spinoffs now?
Honestly, I would be like, if they said Christopher Nolan's going to direct a young Dom movie, I would be like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna not watch it.
No, I would be there opening night. I would be there immediately.
I would be more up for that than Venom 2. So
yes.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah,
that's something I want to talk about a little bit later. But yeah, we need to talk about Christopher Nolan being a bitch. Yeah, it just like, dude, really, could you be more transparent? Like, come the fuck on. Like, I don't like the way this is going. Tenet didn't make any money. It's Warner Brothers' fault. Like, dude, no.
Well, your movie looked like shit on my iPhone. So what do I? What's your problem?
Yeah, I couldn't hear your movie on my Game Boy Color. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like, this is bringing out the worst in some directors. Like, we have a pandemic going on. Like, I'm sorry you're not getting to be as, I don't know.
Do you really? Does Christopher Nolan really need another $1 million? Like, honestly, like, no, he doesn't.
You know how much I want to see Shang-Chi, and I cannot see Shang-Chi because of the stupid fucking pandemic. Like, and I'm not, and that's the big tentpole movie that I want to see and support. Not your like goofy like 4.5 hour like World War I all one shot. starring a fucking British pop star. Like,
that's 1917, but fair enough.
Whatever, it's all the same bullshit, and you know it.
Wow, you know what, Lou? I can't deny that you heard that. Yeah, well, because
Dunkirk wasn't bad. I will leave it at that.
No, I think Dunkirk is a very good movie, but I understand what Lou is saying. Like, Chris Nolan he's reached a certain level where he's just allowed to make whatever he wants at this point, and that's not always a good thing.
No.
That can go very bad. I think Tenet is a perfect example of that going extremely bad. Because I honestly, like,
I'm worried that movie's going to hurt Washington of anything.
No, because he was good in it.
No.
He was great in it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of the issues with that movie rub off onto him, because every scene he's in, you care about. Like,
well, because my thought is, like, Pattinson's kind of like a known quantity, and Washington was kind of, he had a big hit. That's a really good movie. And that's his second big film, right? His second big kind of studio film. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's gotten like a lot of press and attention. He's been in a lot of good stuff.
What does he have lined up?
I mean, he had a movie come out like last month. It was a Netflix movie, so they didn't advertise it.
That's not a real thing.
Well, that, and I from everything I read, like multiple reviews that I trust, they were saying like it's not that great a movie to begin with. Surprise. And they feel like he was the wrong choice for the role he had.
In Tenet?
No, not in Tenet, in this Netflix movie.
Oh, I've seen the Netflix movie. I think he's actually kind of perfect for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just going by what I saw on a couple different reviews.
Fair enough. I mean, I could see somebody saying that, but like, if they made that movie in the 90s starring his dad, it would be exactly the same movie.
So after Tenet, the other movie I heard about was the one he did with Zendaya, and I heard that's like it's artsy fartsy up its own ass. I'm like, don't ruin this fucking guy's career, because like with these like.
So, Lou, I don't know if that ruins his career though, because I think actors look at it very differently now. I think that they look at it in terms of like, when people are looking back on my career years later, what will they say? I would say
you're right, but it's kind of different when it's actors of color and he's getting chances to be a lead. Like, so he hit it out of the park with the first one, stumble on the second one, does this artsy fartsy film. Now he's in a Netflix show or Netflix movie. Like, and he's the son of like the kind of like number one black actor we all think of.
Yes.
So like, Lou, to that point, the only difference between his career at the point he is in right now and his father's career at the same point, you know, if you can even find a similar point, is that the places where your movies live are different. That's the only difference.
Well, now the world is different, yes.
But otherwise, if you like look at the actual choices and the period of time he's in, like, it's about the same. He's had his glory already. He's had his movie that everybody has seen him in and that everybody knows. And he's doing a bunch of movies that are in different genres that appeal to different groups of people. But he hasn't had his, I don't know, his Crimson Tide yet, or his the movie with Ethan Hawke, which I'm forgetting the name of.
Training Day?
Training Day. Like,
Training Day was like way later.
He's in that sort of like early 90s period where if you look at the movies Denzel was doing at the time, he was doing big movies. He was also doing weird art movies that nobody saw.
He was doing like some Spike Lee films and stuff. I guess like what the problem, at least to me, when it comes to him, is that like, and it's not a him problem, it's a like Hollywood culture problem, is that like, can there ever be really more than like one guy?
Yep.
And so for a while it was, until he passed away, Chadwick. And then it seemed like it might be Washington, and then he's kind of faltered, and luckily like Disney Marvel has been able to kind of, and with other stuff he's done, Mackie is kind of risen up.
Yeah, no, that's not like, incorrect.
is there like and it's shitty that there's not a space, and it's like I feel like is he's had his shots. He came up, crushed it right off that. Like I love Black Klansman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has he? And then he took a kind of another shot in a kind of both artsy and big budget movie in Tenet. And is he kind of now in the spot where if he doesn't come out and get like a big hit next, is he gonna kind of fall into this kind of second tier? Like,
no, I don't think it's gonna happen. So Lou, it's interesting you say that because I look at it completely differently. I look at it as like this is the first time in history where in Hollywood there is a large roster of young Black performers who are all going up for big roles, and they're getting, I would say, the same-ish treatment that white performers of the same age who could be up for the similar role. They're getting like the same level of looked at for those roles. Because I look at it like he's in the same class as Mateen II, as Daniel Kaluuya and the other guy from Get Out, who's also been in a lot of stuff.
I definitely think the difference with, because I think that we're in a definitely better situation, but like as a marquee leading man, it's like it's now Anthony Mackie, Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan has been doing it really is mostly Michael B. Jordan and Anthony Mackie. Once Cap 4 comes out, will probably be there. But like Jordan kind of went through the spot where he did indie film. He had his big budget movie, and his first really big budget movie flopped in Fantastic Four. But like Fruitvale Station, he went back and it's like that's like super like really amazing.
Well, it's also Coogler knew how to get a great performance out.
Yeah.
And then he does the combo of Black Panther and Creed. Kind of just like, oh, now he's on another. Now he's untouchable. Like Michael B. Jordan's in the untouchable era.
He's definitely like of all of them, like in terms of just like star power, he is the biggest just star of all of them. Absolutely.
I guess like my fear is like I don't want Washington in a bad way, although I love him as an actor, to turn into oh my god, I'm not just blanking on his name, War Machine.
Oh, Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
No.
Like Don Cheadle, I think, could and should have been a big leading man.
He would have been much bigger than he was.
He absolutely
should have been, and he kind of got pigeonholed in this like second tier guy. Because a couple of times he had his swing, it didn't work.
I would say I would say second tier is, it's not incorrect, but it's more he's a well-respected actor who's never really been given the chance to.
He's the number one. He's like the top character actor. Like of the era, like kind of guy. Like, and he can lead a TV show, but he never really got. I feel like he got kind of like maybe like one or two swings at like being the lead of like a film.
Absolutely.
But that was it.
If you just look at him in Boogie Nights.
That's exactly the movie I'm thinking of. Yeah,
like that movie is like, wow, we have
a star.
We've wasted this man. I totally agree with that. Yeah,
since we're doing the very Caucasian thing of rating Black people, although we have Lou helping us out here, so it's okay.
I do want to say that this is me and Lou did find a way to talk about 90s movies.
We went there.
Well, no, but
it's very indirect, but we found it. We got there.
No, but Boogie Nights is a phenomenal movie, so I'm okay with it. It's not like you guys just start talking about some random bullshit Mars movie or something along those lines. I wanted to mention Mahershala Ali. Like he's somebody, Mahershala, that's it. I always mispronounce his name. I feel terrible. He's somebody though that I feel like hasn't been given a chance to be the big lead.
No,
I feel he's kind of in that weird. This is gonna be weird. He is kind of in my mind, like a more modern day Sidney Poitier, where he's very art side of everything. And I've seen him in everything, and the motherfucker is gonna be Blade. And I say that with all the excitement on earth.
Oh yeah, it's just thinking about it though. Like he's been praised for movies that are either.
He won an Oscar for a movie that he's in like 15 minutes of.
Yes.
Wait, which movie was that?
Wait, no, he was.
It was Moonlight. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Moonlight. He's in like 15 minutes of
it. He's amazing.
Was he not? And he did win. That's right.
Yes, he did win.
Yeah,
and
he did win.
He's 2 Oscars.
Yeah,
Two Oscars.
It's just I don't know. Green Book, like, that struck me as very much like the old white Hollywood film.
Yeah.
Like, being like, we like the blacks now.
He's on my spectrum. He's on one side, and Idris Elba's on the other.
Yes,
sure.
I can completely see that.
Idris Elba's in the Suicide Squad, Fast and Furious, and I love him in all these things. But he's become like the kind of big budget, like safe guy. But he's never the lead. He's a villain. He's in a like a ensemble. Like, what has there been what big movies has he been like the lead of?
I mean, I've said before, I think no one's ever been able to use him correctly because nobody's cast him correctly and nobody's put him in the right movie in the right role until Suicide Squad.
Yeah, until Suicide Squad. Like the only movie I can think of, literally him as a lead, I've never seen. I've seen one trailer for it, and I was like, "What the shit is this?" It's the movie with him and Kate Winslet are in a plane crash.
Oh, that movie is bad.
Oh, I knew that from the trailer. I'm like, oh, this is the movie where the black guy helps the white woman in the snow?
Yeah.
This is a bad movie.
It's a real tax shelter movie. I do want to go back to the original story that started us off on this, which is the Chris Nolan thing. I think everybody involved here is incredibly dumb. I think everybody, like, nobody is out of fault in this situation. He is dumb for really trying to push the movie during the pandemic and getting angry that his dumb idea didn't work out well. But Warner Brothers is incredibly dumb for like doing what they've done to directors that exacerbated the situation. I understand we're in the pandemic, yes, and these directors, some of them are reacting in ways that are maybe a little bit
childish and immature and
a little bit childish. Yes. But at the same time, like the whole not telling anybody that they were streaming these movies day and date until they just said it out loud to everybody. Not really like negotiating with anybody or trying to get any kind of like
and that's
permission
not a
or anything.
Thing. That's a Hollywood thing because Disney's going through the same thing with Scarlet. So
well, we're seeing how that worked out for them, aren't we?
Well, and it's actually that has been interesting because like I talked to my friend who's not like us, he's a normie, and he's like, "Oh, it's so annoying that she's like saying shit." I'm like, "Dude, her contract said that she was supposed to get a chunk, like a percentage."
Yeah.
So when they didn't put it out there, she didn't get it. It's like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't know that. And like, there's normies out there just like. And I say this is like literally, he's just like a guy that will watch the stuff and like doesn't know. It's like,
I completely understand that because most people, they go to work and they get a paycheck at the end of the week or every 2 weeks or the end of the month or whatever. They don't live in this perpetual space of not working and then suddenly working for a month or a year very intensely. And that's your life. That's all you do. You work job to job. And yes, Scarlett Johansson is very rich. But as I've said,
she also gets to go
places,
home to the beautiful man named Colin Jost.
Yeah,
right.
So, like,
exactly.
America's sweetheart, really.
But like, what she's doing is only going to benefit her entire group, her entire.
Everybody, and
it's the second time she's been fucked over.
Yeah.
Was it her that got fucked over in that other movie, or was that a different actress?
What other movie?
The one where they refilmed everything with Plumber.
That was
Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Did we get invaded, or did somebody leave?
No. Leo's lurking in the shadows.
No. I wanted to ask you, Hunter, like, how did you feel when you got screwed over for the residuals for your sequel to the Johnny Wad films?
Oh God. You know, you win some, you lose some.
I mean, I know they promised you all the mason jars you could fill, but yeah.
I did want to bring up again, as being somebody. This is like way tangent. As like I've been in
on this show, I can't believe it.
I know. No. Being back in school for a month now, I can tell you, I look at like I have to stay in the hall and watch kids. I have seen literally 0 like DC property T-shirts on kids.
Well, my first question is this on your free hours movies that you stand in the hall and watch kids?
Yes.
Okay.
I have seen more My Hero gear than I have seen anything else.
Well, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah, that's because they're weebs, Lou.
Yeah, anime and manga are huge.
Because the younger generations like anime so much.
Dude, I like literally one of the people in one of my classes, I would say is probably like mega popular and was wearing My Hero sweatpants. And I was like, I don't understand this world, but I'm here for it.
I want to be reduced in age and beat him up.
Yeah.
Actually, have him beat me up.
Not at him. Not at him.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Wow. I mean, hey, you know what? Whatever. We keep leaving this story about Chris Nolan. I don't want to fuck film nerds. Film nerds are annoying.
Before we go into a tangent about children and how you like to watch them and what they're wearing.
I get paid to watch them and what they're wearing.
What?
That's true. You do.
Hunter perked up. It's weird.
We're looking for substitutes if you want to move down to my area.
No, absolutely not.
Mr. Davenport, what are you going to teach us? I don't know. Just shut up.
Shut up. I'm hungover.
Nolan acting like a big old
teachers like that.
This is just the plot to School of Rock.
Yes, literally.
With Nolan and whatnot. Go ahead, Arlen. You obviously have a point you want to get to.
No, I just want to say, like, it's really dumb to leave a studio that, at least in the past, has been known for like supporting directors because of your own like, weird personal squabbles. But again, it's one of those situations where I don't necessarily disagree with his reasoning entirely, but I'm just like, this is new. This doesn't happen very often.
No.
I mean,
he must have had a really good meeting, and the contract was delivered via like in between 2 pieces of sourdough, like in air, and he jumped up and caught it like he was Jerry Rice, and he was like, "Oh, man."
I do like the idea of Amy Pascal being the one that convinced him to make an Oppenheimer movie.
Yeah, Amy Pascal, the Tom Brady of the film industry.
Wait, I got that right. It is an Oppenheimer movie he's making. I couldn't remember. Okay,
it's about
the Manhattan Project.
It's about the Manhattan Project.
Okay. So
it's a perfect fit for him. It's a perfect fit.
Right.
For him.
You got my nerd brain back on track because
if he's doing something sort of Interstellar, Dunkirk-ish, like it works perfectly. But like,
you want to hear weird? My wife's grad. Sorry.
I know. I was just gonna say, like, you saying like Oppenheimer and then mentioning like Interstellar, like weirdness. I would love if he somehow secretly turned this into a sci-fi movie.
He's Grant Morrison now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, just have the nuclear blast actually was something that he needed to do for some reason, or it tears open a rift in the universe or something like that.
Right.
Oh, I would.
How much money that it starts and or ends with the quote that everyone quotes.
Oh yeah. I used that quote when I was describing trying Taco Bell's breakfast when it first came out.
I mean,
that's one of their hot sauces, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the Baja Blast was known to turn the sand from the desert into glass.
Yeah, they have. Their sauces are medium hot, fire. I am become death destroyer of worlds.
I looked back on the Baja de Bichu. Yeah. It's with Nolan having this temper tantrum too, which I'm being diminutive of it. Like it actually is somewhat justified. But I also noticed that Tarantino is getting a little uppity because COVID was ruining plans for things. And it's just like you guys.
That's a strange word to use with Tarantino.
Yeah.
That's kind of triggering.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Shit.
I'm making a joke, but
no, but you're not incorrect. But he was definitely getting a bit of an
yeah.
attitude about all the shit too, because it's just like, well, dude, the theater system is not built on the health of the people who are there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a thing we've seen throughout the pandemic, though. I mean, all the way back to the Imagine video.
You mean that rich people from Hollywood are not connected to us normies out in the world?
No, they really
9 to 5.
Yeah.
And not to defend Tarantino, but he is like the biggest Nolan fanboy, apparently.
Yeah.
When was the last time Tarantino was a real human? Like,
never.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't been a real human being since like 1999, maybe.
Since his one stepdad that he was around for like a month and a half. Sorry. Oh God.
I hate how accurate that probably was.
The more and more I hear, the more and more I'm like, oh, God damn it. Like,
it's really weird, like I've talked about this before. Warner Brothers, and I mentioned it previously, like they love this thing where they like take care of filmmakers. It's the thing that they've been known for, of like not saying fuck you the moment that a filmmaker does badly or that a movie flops. Like, I mean,
you mean when they rescue one from getting like having a weird situation?
Yeah.
Well, and in Nolan's case, he made them a ton of money.
Yeah.
So
even when they don't, they still do this. The Wazowskis are a prime example of this. They're making another Matrix with them. They don't need
those
to do
two
that.
are perfect examples where it's like they made each other. Like both him and the Wachowskis made Warner Brothers millions and millions of dollars, and themselves made millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. And they both. And Nolan's kind of at this point in like a permanent do whatever the fuck he wants, like artiste. And like the Wachowskis, yeah. And the Wachowskis were in that for a while too.
Yeah,
and they're kind of still there. Like they just haven't really.
No, the thing is, they just had some stumbles. They've made some bad decisions.
They've had good movies that were not commercial hits. Like I will stand by that Speed Racer movie. Like.
Lou, I wasn't talking about Speed Racer. I'm talking about
Cloud
the movie.
Atlas.
I will stand behind Cloud Atlas. Like I really enjoyed that movie. Like I
like Cloud Atlas, and the Asian face stuff.
Yes,
does not hurt me physically in the way that I know that it hurts some other people. Because I understand the intent of it. Still a bad choice.
Oh, it was a terrible choice. It was a terrible choice.
It's just not the right move. There are other ways to do that to get the same result. But they went with putting makeup on Jim Sturgis's face to make him look Korean. Nobody's finest moment there.
I would like you to describe me what it means to look Korean.
Lou, just look up a picture of Jim Sturgis in the movie Cloud Atlas, and you'll get a sense of what the makeup artist on that movie thought, I guess. Anyways, my point is, like, it's really weird for anybody in these situations to break this thing up. It usually takes something cataclysmic, like, I don't know, ruining an entire film universe that is supposed to be part of the larger strategy of a company.
Yeah, they don't really think about that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen very often. Warner Brothers will stick by you when they, by all rights, should not stick by you. And Nolan being the one to break this off is like, okay, cool, bro. You don't look like the child pouting in the closet right now at all.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely the too cool for the room kid.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't understand that choice. If it's me, not that I would ever be in that situation, I would just suck it up and be like, okay, I respect you guys, and the fact that you guys have allowed me to make movies that are that cost billions of dollars, all together. And I just don't.
Even if you were like, look what they just, I don't even know how to describe it, did with Snyder. Like the bending a 360 degrees, like over backwards, giving him like $75 million to fix that whole thing, which it started bad, like with what happened with the situation, but they never had to do any of that.
No, they didn't need to. They didn't need to do that, but they did it, which is, regardless of how, I have some personal feelings about that. I respect the fact that they did it, that they made that choice.
Well, it's in some ways almost also a calculated choice because they need to have content for their new streaming service.
Yes.
Exactly.
But what else was on the news list since we've been going on about Nolan for like 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, related. Somebody at Warner Brothers really likes the Batman. Somebody really likes it because this is our spinoff. They're doing a Penguin show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
You're saying that they want to like squeeze as much milk from this cow that's the biggest character of this thing that they don't care about that they own?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm sorry, but was that too subtle for anybody?
No, so Lou, that's a completely understandable take, but at the same time, like, I kind of wish that they had been doing this the whole time.
Well, that implies foresight.
Yeah.
And planning.
Like, I can stand them not making a good Green Lantern movie a little bit more if we had like 15 Batman things of varying quality. So I could be like, well, these are the Batman things that I like, and fuck the rest of it. If it wasn't like, oh, there's only one Batman, and he's in a movie that I really fucking hate, that I never want to see again. Like, do this. Go ahead. Make as much of it as you want. I was not a fan of Joker, but if Joker had come out in between 7 other adaptations of Batman things, my opinion of Joker goes up because I have other options. I have other things that I can do.
Oh, if Joker came out in the middle of the Nolan trilogy,
yes,
it would have really worked really well. It would have been like it could very well have fit into that world.
Sure.
Sure. So like, but the movie going and critic circle world at large though does not agree with your dislike of Joker though, Harlan. Like, I mean,
I understand that.
Like that, and honestly, like I really enjoyed it. Like,
I did too.
It's not good as a Batman film, like,
no,
or it's tangentially related, but it's good.
Sure. I think I'm in the middle. Like, it's a fine film. It's stupid that it's anything connected to comic books. If you remove the comic books references, it is a much better film to me about mental illness and the system.
Yeah.
Also,
like, it honestly takes away from the message to me.
It's a movie that doesn't have a point, and the fact that it doesn't have a point isn't the point of the movie, and that's a problem for me. Like,
it's only a movie that's like, oh, look at the system. System is broken.
Look at all this stuff. I'm gonna throw all these ideas at you that this movie could be about, but I'm never gonna make the movie about any one of those ideas because, according to Todd Phillips, I'm punk rock, so I don't need to choose.
Okay, yeah. So, have you guys ever seen Taxi Driver?
Here's what just popped in my head. My fear is that the Sony movie, who I will not name because it doesn't really exist, is going to think it's the Joker, but like it's going to be a Sony version of that movie.
Yeah, it's going to be awful. I can't wait.
I mean, the version you're pitching, Lou, sounds much better than what it actually is going to be.
No, but like in my head, the one person thinks that he is Joaquin Phoenix, and he thinks that's the movie that he's making.
Sure.
And everyone around him thinks that that's the political kind of social commentary they're going to be making in this other thing. And then,
well, are you talking about Venom 2, or are you talking about Morbius?
I'm talking about the movie that doesn't really exist.
I don't know what movie that is.
The second one you said.
Oh, Morbius.
No, I every time you say that, it just your mic drops out.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about Venom 2 real quick, and especially the fact that Sony is, I'm not going to say what it is unless somebody wants me to, that Sony is really pushing the hey, stick around for the post-credit sequence in Venom 2. It's going to blow your mind. You stupid motherfuckers. Like,
I'm leaving the theater immediately, by the way, just so you know.
Like,
I would not be in that theater.
That is just...
Here's the thing.
Okay. Can you just give it away already, basically? Like, that's what they're doing by selling
Can you
this.
tell me, can you type it in the chat so I can have a live reaction on the show? Because I have not.
Okay.
I do want to point out this is the most 2014 Sony thing that they've ever done since 2014.
Can I make a guess? Is it going to be the Carnage symbiote Jones until like a lady? And
No.
that's the ending?
No. I will say I am not surprised at this at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure that there was a whole situation that happened a while back that happened so they could do this. I almost feel like that's the case. It's like,
does said character from said movie that doesn't exist get samples, and that's what makes his movie?
yes, that's exactly what happens. Lee. You nailed it.
Did I really?
No.
Is it just clips from like the 1995
No, I'll tell you.
Genesis video game?
No. I'll tell you. Squirrel Girl shows up and they kill Dr. Doom.
There you go. I just put it in the chat, Lou.
So stupid.
Is that real?
Multiple sources have been reporting this.
Yeah. This is probably part of the deal that they struck when Tom Holland called everybody crying.
I hate it.
Probably.
I hate it so fucking much.
Is this the compromise he had to make an Uncharted movie?
I mean, I guarantee that. Yeah, absolutely. Lou, I think you mean the Uncharted movie that already came out.
This is the monkey pod deal that happened.
Oh my god! That's just like, that's such a lazy, because it's obviously just gonna be a clip from one of the movies.
It's gonna be. I can tell you the exact clip is gonna be playing.
It's gonna be the end of Far From Home.
Far From Home, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. And that's like the fact that Sony's like, oh, stick around for the after credits. It's gonna blow your mind. Shut up, you smug pricks. Like, just stop it.
I don't know. I
pull Shazam out on your phone.
I do not have the level of vehement anger that everyone else has about this. Because I'm like, I'm not shocked at all that this is happening.
I'm not shocked, but I'm annoyed by the way Sony is handling it. And
but again, this is Sony we're talking about, right?
I know, but I don't want this Venom. I mean, at all associated with the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
The most positive thing is it's Venom. And this is a part of the multiverse, and that multiverse is seeing that clip from Spider-Man traveling in his third film.
Here's my counter argument to that, Eric. This is Tom Hardy being handled by Marvel proper. You know what I mean?
You know, that's not.
My worry is that people are going to take the wrong thing from this, and
they always will. That was always going to be a thing.
Well, again,
Sony's
most people are normies,
down.
so yeah.
Here's the thing: we live in a world where people are gargling iodine. Eric, I'm not shocked at anyone's stupid shit,
and that's the least like bad thing they're doing.
But in the longer run, look at this. It worries me that Sony is going to try some stupid shit again and be like, "No, you guys can't play with Spider-Man anymore."
Here's the thing. I think we're past that. I really do.
I don't think we are.
Here's my question, and I really wonder what the deal is. Who does Miles fall under? Does he fall under Sony?
He falls under Sony.
Yeah, he falls under Sony.
Yeah.
What about some of the other characters like Silk or
would be a super easy like solution to this for Sony is to use Miles and keep making Spider-Verse movies, I guess. I don't know.
No, they're supposed to be making more Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, but Arlen, I know you have hope saying you think we're past that. I could see Sony has a very close eye on however long this contract is for. That
It's
they've
for
worked out
forever.
with.
So
I mean the one they've worked out with Marvel.
The deal with Marvel.
It's not a contract anymore. It's just an agreement that they've made behind closed doors. So,
then I've even less reason to trust them to be intelligent about this.
True. I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Maybe this leak is like hey, we're going to do this because it's part of our deal unless you buy out this film division that we don't really give a shit about.
Yeah. It just, I mean, I hope that they don't buy it out before Sony makes their Kraven the Hunter movie, because that's going to be phenomenal.
Starring who?
What's his face from Kick-Ass?
He's played fucking how many characters in the MCU? Marvel. Yeah. He's played how many Marvel characters? It's like
Quicksilver. Who else has he played?
Kick-Ass is a Marvel. Kick-Ass is a Marvel imprint.
Yeah, it is. It wasn't initially, but it became one then. But you're right.
We don't need to give Mark Millar any more money.
No,
we don't.
But I don't know.
So Penguin is getting a show.
That's where we started.
I just wanted to.
Is the star? Is it what's his name?
Colin
I don't think so, because it's supposed to be a prequel.
So it's that spin-off from Gotham we never got. They just changed what universe is connected to.
So I mean, just on a base level, I'm excited for the Batman. I can be excited for this once I see what they're doing with the Penguin. I don't know if what they're doing with the Penguin is really cool or if it's really dumb. So I have to withhold some judgment there. Now that aside, I don't have a problem with the idea of a show from the perspective of a villain in Gotham, as long as it's well written. As Lou just pointed out, there was a show called Gotham, and a lot of this story does sound very similar, but the show Gotham is bad. It's
not the worst show connected to
awful.
That character.
No, Penguin's probably the least awful character on that show.
I'm saying we're forgetting another show that was created based on
Pennyworth.
Yes.
Lou, I don't care. That show does not exist.
It's in the same place as that other movie, right?
I haven't seen it.
So is this?
It doesn't. No one has.
This Penguin show going to be on HBO Max?
Yes, it will be.
I don't care. I really don't care.
All I care is Diggle going to show up?
No,
see, that was going to be my next point. Is so they're going to try and tie this into the CW verse.
I don't think that they will, because this is a spinoff of the Batman. I really don't think they're going to do that.
Originally, the Batman stuff was going to be its own separate mini-verse, wasn't it?
It's supposed to be Earth 2, according to the people who made it. It's
do they even know what that means?
No,
I don't
they
even.
Don't.
Well, the problem is that their Earth 1 was basically Earth 3, but hey, whatever.
Which is the Earth that was destroyed by nuclear war, and no one can actually live on it because that's what their prior Earth was.
Yes, because that's the horrors that occurred there.
It's like Earth 99 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, anyways, I'm withholding judgment on this. Again, I think the Batman is going to change how excited about this I am. But yeah, it is interesting to me that they are that confident in this version of the Batman that they've done.
You say that, but haven't they announced 2 other shows and we've heard nothing about them?
This is the second one. This is the second show that is this version of Batman.
But I mean, in general for DC stuff.
See, that's different to me. They've already said that they're doing a lot of stuff. It's weird to me though that this is maybe the thing that they've announced the most for.
The other show was what? Batgirl?
Well, they've announced a Batgirl show, but that's supposed to be.
There's also supposed to be a Gotham Central show.
Oh.
Well, yeah. So no,
Gotham Central makes the most sense.
I forgot about the Batgirl thing. I was thinking of the Canary thing, which is for Birds of Prey.
That's a different. That's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a different thing. So yeah, no, you're right. This is the third. That's insane to me that they already have 3 spinoffs planned for a movie that hasn't come out yet.
And I think that ties back to what Lou said, is that let's milk this thing as much as we can, regardless of what happens.
And milk it for the thing that we need content for.
So here's the thing. Yes, it still is what you're saying. It still is milking it. They don't need to connect it to this movie, though. They could just make Batman things. They could just make it. They could make all of these shows completely separate.
I think it still comes down to that inferiority complex to the MCU.
I can see that. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, that's why
especially with the shows. Hard.
Like they're really playing up the idea of the multiverse, a thing that they're getting to second already.
Yep.
Well, again, look, I think maybe if it was before the Disney Plus shows, but in a post Loki, Winter Soldier, Falcon, WandaVision, that changed the kind of themes. We need to make not just content with movie stars that are connected, that are important.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everything I've heard, and mind you, maybe Colin Farrell doesn't know as much as he thinks he does, but he's said oh yeah, I'm not in the Batman movie that much. He said that multiple times. I don't know if that's misdirection or what the case is, but I mean, if he's honest,
that sounds right.
Do you think he's in the Batman movie more than he was in Artemis Fowl?
I don't know. I haven't seen Artemis Fowl.
Lou made that joke specifically for me.
I don't care about the Penguin that much.
He's fine.
I only care about Batman villains when they have someone like a Batman or a Nightwing or a Robin to bounce off of.
That's fair.
There are villains I could watch stuff with. He's not one of them I would give a shit about.
No, he's not even on my. He's not even on the list for me. In terms of just based off who the character is. I don't have. There's not a psychological in. I would be more interested in a Riddler show, but he's part of the movie.
He's part of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So they wouldn't really do that. I would
be the characters I'd be interested in. Be a Man-Bat show would be interesting to me.
Man-Bat show. You keep talking.
You're making his Uatu robes get high.
Yes. But yeah, I think again, like I said, this is going to depend on what their version.
To me, based on what we've seen, it's it's going to be a comic book version of The Sopranos.
Yeah, which is fine with me, and
it's just
it's pretty good at The Sopranos. So
which it's fine. Again, it's fine. I just don't care as much. The only thing that makes sense to me is if that and Gotham PD are hyper connected.
I think they might be.
If we were seeing two sides of kind of the same story, that would be very interesting.
I mean, I have no problem with that. I have zero problem with that. And if the finale of one leads directly into the finale of another,
it's like watching The Wire, but it's Gotham. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I could see it being interesting. So I think that's all we need to talk about on the Penguin. Interesting. I reserve my thoughts for later when we learn more about it. I have other news, but if you guys want to bounce, we can.
I mean, a Hunter bounce. I don't know, Lou. Do you want to keep going?
I am fine. I am awake.
Okay. Yeah, we can. I would say give it another 20 minutes, and then we could call it a night.
All right. Well, as with this, I'm going to read off stories that I had categorized as main, and the one that you guys want to talk about. Let's talk about that. So there's a John Wick prequel series about the Continental is going to be set in the 70s.
Whatever.
Yeah,
fine.
It's going to be about young Ian McShane.
I like that world more than I like any of the tertiary characters other than John Wick.
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep on reading, and then we can focus on one. The Hawkeye trailer happened, and then Anthony Mackie is going to be the star of a Twisted Metal show for Amazon. So Yeah.
Hawkeye, it's still too early to say anything about because
the trailer is fun.
Yeah, the trailer's fun, and Marvel has shown, Disney has shown that they know how to do these shows. So I trust implicitly that it's going to be
good
other than Jeremy Renner.
It does feel good based on the trailer that it's, again, different from the other shows vastly. It feels it feels like it's much more in an action comedy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it feels like Die Hard in the best ways.
It feels like
that's
action
fun.
movies, like old school action movies.
Yeah, and again, like a Die Hard or a Commando or like that kind of 80s, early 90s action movie in like a very fun, quippy way.
I got a lot of Shane Black vibes just from the.
Yeah, and again, didn't he write Commando?
Yes.
Well, he wrote yes, but
Predator.
he also wrote
Lethal Weapon.
He like ghost wrote a lot of stuff, but Lethal Weapon. The movie that keeps coming to mind for me though is The Last Boy Scout.
Oh yes, but that movie's terrible. But yes,
no, that movie's fantastic. Movie's fucking fantastic.
Oh, Harlan, we have to avoid this.
When have you last seen it? Because it's
several years ago, but it's not good. Let's avoid this. We don't need to talk about 90s movies.
Please.
No.
No,
we're not talk about this for 2 hours.
We're not talking about this.
And The Nice Guys, which is also a really good movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that movie's great.
Yeah.
What was the other thing after Hawkeye? Shit, I can't remember. Sorry, I got completely lost.
It was the Twisted Metal.
That one. Like, I don't know. Try it out. You know, I don't think it's going to be as over the top as the games were. Like,
so it's going to be Death Race 3000. But...
No, I don't even think it'll be that. Like, I think there's some interesting ways they could go with it. I don't know what, but I think it's something that has never really had much of a narrative other than I'm Calypso.
I literally remember two characters. Obviously, was it Sweet Tooth?
Yeah.
And there's another character who I guess would be his character is the dude in the gyroscope.
No, not Axel. No, like that's. I think they're going to create a character for him to be in this, or it'll be somebody from one of the games that wasn't. It's
Twisted. It's Twisted Metal, but it's basically just Fast and Furious.
I don't even know if it'll be that. Like I don't know. I don't know how much of like the ghost and paranormal stuff will be in it as much as it might be just, I don't know, people who have a specific look, unless Sweet Tooth ends up being like the devil or something in it.
Right.
And who knows? It's a dumb thing that they could do whatever they want with it. That's my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have to stick to like a Bible for that series because there isn't one.
Mm-hmm. They don't. Yeah, like it's just from what I know of Twisted Metal, there are a lot of, I'm not gonna say cool concepts, but like not uninteresting concepts that they can make into something else.
I feel like the basis is just like people who are chosen to race a thing, and the winner gets their wish, but their wish tends to be
a monkey's paw.
Wish.
Yeah, right. And it's not even a race; it's a vehicular combat thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Like, it's so nebulous and so just kind of like, look at cars shoot each other. You can do anything with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's Sony. Who knows if it'll even ever come out? I mean, let's be honest.
Who knows? But like, it's interesting that they're actually doing this. I think that they've actually
heard is in a post-credit scene, Eddie Brock is watching. He's watching a trailer for Twisted Metal Black.
He's watching a commercial for Twisted Metal 2 on the PS1, and Venom is trying to convince him to buy the dual joystick controller so he can do burnouts easier.
And he's like, this looks just like that guy we fought in the first movie.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're making some interesting choices as it pertains to the video games that they own, because they really haven't touched that stuff in the past, and when they have, they've made some real bad movies. So like the fact that they're trying, I agree with a lot of the people who've been on the show before. Like, I don't like that they're doing Last of Us, but I like that they're doing something with that.
Oh,
with
is that for
arena.
HBO?
Yeah, I think so.
At least it has like the only thing about Last of Us, at least like, isn't they cast what's
Pedro?
his name as Pedro is the lead, so I'm like, it's Pedro, like that makes it watchable.
Like,
no, I'm gonna watch it at least this season because of that, purely because of that casting. Like
I've never played Last of Us, but my whole thing is that is very much a cinematic game. Why do you need to make a show adapting it?
Well, that's the thing. If you were going to make a show, why wouldn't you just put it in the world and not just rehash the plot of the game?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense to me as well. Like that world is interesting, even though I've never played the game, because I'm like, this is not for me, just from what I know of it. But I agree, like there's interesting things you can do in that world, and it doesn't mean that you can't have Joel show up. That would be the for people who really love Last of Us, that would probably be the coolest thing ever. If Joel showed up the way that Luke shows up in Mandalorian, like if it was just like a thing that happens occasionally where you
so it'll be
interact
bad
with
CGI.
Well, no, hopefully not. That would be interesting. But again,
how dare you, sir?
I'm proud of them for making the choice and seemingly putting a lot of effort into it relatively. So yeah, like I kind of respect that choice. I'm curious to see how these shows that they've announced and the movies that they've announced actually work. I'm very curious to see how many people that aren't white work on the Ghost of Tsushima movie.
What?
Wait,
and if Blue Man comes back.
Wait. That they're making a movie for Ghost of Tsushima?
It's either a movie or a show. I can't actually remember.
Dude, honestly, I'm here for that. Like, I know the issues, but I love that game. I like the story a ton. And
I just want Flute Man to come back. I just need Flute Man.
I know. My thought is like they're really not touching on what Sony should be as like their lost IP. That would make a great show. I want to see them do Parappa the Rapper.
Yes, that'd be wonderful. Make it like the Wu-Tang show on Hulu.
Oh my god, starring Eminem. We connect it back to Venom.
God damn it!
No, a Parappa animated show would be fucking tits.
It would be awesome. No,
hey,
but
maybe they can put it back on their Sony TV thing. Like, that lesson.
Oh god, Ghost of Tsushima. Like, it makes me realize something they haven't done really in. Well, other than Shogun, the TV series, like the limited TV series, they haven't actually done like a samurai show in America in years.
30, 40 years? I don't even think besides like even like movie genre, what's like The Last Samurai, which I don't even put in that category.
Which
like,
that's the white savior movie. And I like that movie, but it's very much the like, oh man, it's a tough.
It is literally the white savior movie. It's The Last of the Mohicans, but with Japanese people.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like there was what is it? The Takashi Miike film. Whatever number of Ronin, I can't remember it. 12 Ronin. No, not 47 Ronin. No,
13 Assassins. Yeah,
13 Assassins. That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
Like that's fucking phenomenal, and that is like what I wanted out of like a fun and like awesome samurai film.
Is that the Keanu one?
No, 47
No,
Ronin
that was
that's the Keanu run. Okay.
Yeah. 13 Assassins is a Takashi Miike film that is fucking amazing. Like it's Takashi Miike like actually in control, well, not even in control, like not being out of control insane. Like he's focused his weird energy into like amazing action scenes. Like it's so good. It's the last like hour and a half of that movie is the greatest samurai film I've ever seen. Yeah, you should go watch it. It's really good. It's really very good.
It's incredibly good. Like just go watch that and give. You know what? I'm going to say this right now. Give Takashi Miike the Ghost of Tsushima movie. Give it to him. Yeah. Do it.
Well, I mean, didn't he do like a Rurouni Kenshin film recently, or was it Blade of the Immortal?
Was that him?
I think he did Blade of the Immortal.
there was a new Kenshin film live action that dropped on.
Well, there's like a whole trilogy that happened.
Yes, and they're supposed to be amazing.
I've only heard good things, and that was one of the anime that I watched when I was younger.
Yes, it's just sad that the person who made it is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Leo confirmed it. He did Blade of the Immortal, which
Nice.
apparently is really, really good. So, yeah, Takashi Miike, if he could continue going down this route, I would be very happy. Where he's like making movies that aren't about like adult men breastfeeding.
Hey, we've all played that subplot in Yakuza's Like a Dragon.
Well, yeah, but you weren't the one breastfeeding.
I guess I don't know. Maybe I got a separate side mission.
You got a weird side mission, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else we've really wanted to talk about. Like,
I don't know.
Unless you guys want to go on for an hour about some '90s movie, and I can fall asleep on my couch.
No, I mean, I think we can wrap on Jeff Bridges' cancer is in remission.
Yes,
that's a thing.
Good.
That's nice.
Yeah, that makes me very happy.
And
to
we
see.
can circle all the way back because I'm pretty sure he reprised his role, didn't he?
In What If?
No,
was it?
Yeah.
Was that him?
not? Was that not?
I don't know.
I mean, it didn't sound like him, but he had throat cancer. So I would be. So if it was him, I'd be like, "Is that what Jeff Bridges with throat cancer sounds like?"
See, my question is, did he get it from the same place that the original Ant-Man got it from?
Well, from the exact same source too.
Yes.
In which case,
it's both the source
interesting.
and the cure.
Yeah. Also, clearly, that would mean that Jeff Bridges and guy whose name I'm somehow forgetting,
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. They must be.
No,
tight.
that was not him. It was an actor who goes by the name Kif Vandenheuvel.
That's a fake name.
I would say like that was a pretty good impression because I was like,
It's not okay. I think we can wrap on this, but like none of the times where it wasn't the person, it's never distracting for me.
No,
in the trailers it was more distracting, but in the actual show,
the only one I was like, oh, it's very obviously not the person was Holland. Like Spider-Man did not sound like him at all.
That didn't stand out to me at all because he nailed the accent. And so I
literally, and I feel like maybe this is like because of where I'm from, like I don't even understand what you mean by accent. Like when you say like when he's speaking as Peter Parker, like I don't hear an accent. I just think he's just talking.
Okay, Lou.
He's obviously not being British.
Lou, you need to lay down. You need to get your head checked.
I'm being honest. Like he's putting on I literally have never heard him use like a New York accent.
Yeah. No. It's not. It's very, very slight if there is anything. But no.
Yeah. He's definitely not doing like an Eddie Brock voice, but like.
Okay, Lou, compared to Tobey Maguire in the in the seminal Sam Raimi films where he's just doing Tobey, and Andrew Garfield is doing whatever he was doing.
Whatever, I'm Spider-Man.
I guess in my brain that's just like that's just Holland's like American voice. Like Nathan Drake is gonna sound exactly the same way.
But here's the thing: I've seen him in other things where he's playing American, and he does not have that voice. It's very different in other things where he's playing American. So, yeah.
I guess my thought is like having lived near and with people from Brooklyn, or no, he's from Queens, right? I'm trying to remember.
No, I get that part. Queens. You know, it's like people in Fargo, North Dakota, who don't know that they have an accent. I get that. I understand
but there is a very specific Queens accent that he does not have in the movies.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
like, I mean, honestly, if anybody, Cap actually has an accent, which is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so does Bucky. Bucky has, I would say, Bucky.
No, and I do think Sebastian Stan is putting on a bit of an accent. I don't hear. I
Yes.
hear just American in Tom.
Well, because his natural voice is very like. Well, it's not that. I'll say it. I'll just leave it
Yeah.
there.
Oh no, I've heard him talk, and it's definitely
Yeah.
not. He is doing a thing. It is just
Yeah.
not Queens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely
And
not 2020 Queens.
Fair
And I
enough.
mean,
This
it's-
is not my region of the country. Obviously,
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who's from New Jersey and someone who has grandparents or had grandparents who lived in Staten
Right.
Island. So
Yeah.
it's
I
we're,
get that. Yeah.
Born
we're
in
kind
Staten
of
Island,
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, and it's like, and again, like I'm not upset by it. It's just like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And this is
Yeah.
for our podcast talking about accents in movies, right?
Mhm.
I just thought
Yeah.
I thought that
Well,
you were
you
doing the
guys were-
whole thing of. I thought you were doing the whole. Well, I don't have an accent thing. That's what I thought you were doing.
I honestly, I talk like I don't really hear my own. I hear it every once in a while when I visit home.
Yeah. Not
But where I
specifically
live-
you, but like the whole thing. Like, no, that person's just talking normally. I thought that you were like, yeah.
Oh no. I was
Well,
being.
No,
yeah,
just
I-
specifically Tom Holland's Queen's accent, quote unquote. Yeah. So
Yeah.
all right. So we discovered and discussed accents. You guys
Right.
rated black people. All right. So I
And,
think we've
yeah.
covered our quota
And
for
we
the night.
didn't spend a
No.
lot of time on 90s or early 2000s movies. So I would call this a success.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we lost
Yeah.
Hunter, so our
We
plan
lost
worked
Hunter.
perfectly.
We
Well-
have a solid name for the podcast episode.
Mhm.
Somebody cut Hunter's Achilles heel, and as a giant,
His Achilles
Uh,
tendon, you mean?
It's only 6 feet off the ground at Achilles' heel, so.
It's Achilles tendon.
whatever.
Achilles heel would be the heel that belongs to Achilles.
No, they cut off his whole heel,
Oh, okay. Okay.
They did, yeah, they
and
did.
then they
shaved
put
down
a
his tendon.
Sharpie and they wrote Achilles on it.
Right, yeah, 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 exactly.
Anyways, all right. This has been an interesting show. I've been your host, Eric Fedorchak. You can find me at Eric_Feeder on Instagram. There's pictures of dogs and cats and food and comics. 2 new additions to the house, like I mentioned last week. I'm very excited. I have an Xbox Series X on the way. It's supposed to be here on the 21st, which is a lot quicker than I expected. And I'll be able to enjoy the 3 or 4 games that are Xbox Series X improved, because everything else is basically just baseline.
Madden 22, right?
I don't care about that. And in 2 years' time, when Cyberpunk is finally updated, like they keep promising, I'll finally jump back into that game. There was something else I was going to mention, but I can't remember what it was. So whatever. That's it for me.
Yeah. License to Pod is back, so listen to new episodes of that as it comes out. We're going to try and power through Bond, even though we've run out of time. But that's not going to stop us. So that's happening, and then we're doing a second episode on Satoshi Kon sooner than later. So look forward to listening to that when it comes out.
Lou, any baby plugs?
I know we're totally on pause with all the other side shows right now because I have no energy in life. So when I do, I happen to pop into one of these episodes. So, you can follow me and tell me if you think it would be how bad of an idea it would be to have, oh my God, my brain is just fried. Message me at young_Kami if you think it would be a bad idea to have Kojima do a Moon Knight game.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. And also send him all your YIF party pictures.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You can send at me for all your YIF parties at young_Kami, the Kami Club podcast.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about furries. So just start sending them
if you want to
pictures.
hear all the latest news on furries and yiffing and how to get the stains out of your polyester fur, just listen to the Kami Club.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess with that, everybody, bye.
Bye.
Adios.